Hello battlers, it's MattyFBaby and we're here with some Timeless Cup action for you, and today we're going to be going over a team building guide, how to build a balanced team using whatever starter you please. So let's get started. So this infographic was made by Palaman. I'm going to have his Twitter link up here on the screen. Go show him some love. He works with the Sylph League to make a balanced team building infographic before they released the cup, so he had a little head start and he's able to get us off to a hot start. So let's look at his graphic and talk about it a little bit, and then we'll go and build some balanced teams. Alright, so to begin, we're going to just go over the different groupings of Pokemon and tell you a short TLDR on what their purpose is. So the number 1 slot is your starter, so it just depends on the starter for what its purpose would be. Number 2 is the grass Pokemon. The grass users in this cup that aren't starters are 99% razor leafers, so they're not going to apply immense shield pressure, but they do apply intense fast move damage pressure, and those are going to be famous for taking out water type Pokemons, in particular the Mud Boys. So next we have the Mud Boys, water and ground subtyping. This is the number 3 slot. They're famous for having really spammy movesets. They can have different usages depending on their moves. Like you can hit a Blizzard from a Whiscash onto a Dragon and one-shot that thing. Or you can take your Quagsire up against a Charizard with that Stone Edge, or you could even Sludge Bomb a grass type if you wanted to, but yeah, don't use Mud Boys as your preferred method of getting rid of grass boys. Anyways, the next subgrouping is the rock water types, and pretty unique core of Pokemon here. You got a lot of variety, and you got Slugma with a hard-hitting rock fast move, as well as Tyranitar. Then you got Tanky Boy like Lantern that it does great water and electric damage, but the rock and water are basically going to be your fire counters. Next we have the Poison Boys. Poison Boys are going to be good at getting rid of the grass type Pokemon. We have a really great Pokemon in Venomoth that's going to be a real nightmare for some teams. You probably don't even need Poison Fang for this cup. In my experience, I've been doing well with just the regular Venomoth. So we got Skuntank popular from our last cup, and Drapion with Ice Fang able to put pressure onto the dragon types. But yeah, the Poison Boys are basically going to be best at just being part of those grass type counters. Alright, so next we have a group 6, the Fire Boys, and I think there's a pretty decent drop off between the starting fire Pokemon and the fire type, and if you compare it to the grass and the water drop off, I think there's a bigger drop off between the fire Pokemon as a starter and in group 6. So group 6 fire types obviously going to do well against your grass types in group 2, and they'll also do well against the bug types of group 5. And you got the ice types, they do okay against. It's really matchup dependent because a lot of them take neutral damage with the water typing, so there's some wins some places and some losses other places. Now on to group 7, yeah, those ice types. So Lapras and Celio will definitely come out as the 2 most used Pokemon in this subgrouping. Ice is going to be really crucial in getting rid of your dragon type threats. And dragon will be aplenty, so that's a big thing with ice. The group 7 also does okay against grass, but that's kind of like a 50-50. They soft counter each other. So next we have group 8 for the grass, or for the dragon, and the dragon Pokemon. The great thing about dragons in this cup is that they're so resistant to the elements, so like water, fire, electric, and grass, they resist those. So that's what's so key about the dragon. There's lots of the elemental Pokemon in this cup, and dragon resists those, and they just have great overall matchups. So there you go. There's a little TLDR on what you use all these subgroupings for. Now let's go run through how to build your team using this graph. Alright, so we're going to make a team with the Venusaur to start. So we'll start up looking at Venusaur. Obviously, he takes up our number 1 pick. And then next, I want you to pick between groups 3 and groups 4. So you pick 1 Mud Boy or 1 Rock water type. So for my team, I decided to choose a Mud Boy in this pick, and I chose Whiscash with that Blizzard ability, the Mud Bomb spam ability. I think he's a really good Pokemon. So next you choose between groups 4 and 5, so that's the rock and water types you pick from again, as well as the Poison Boys. So for my pick, I elected to go with Lantern in this slot. Lantern, a great water type, does really well against those fire types, and he's just a real tanky boy, and he does okay in bad matchups because he's just so thick. So that's why I went with Lantern. Next, you're going to choose between the Poison Boys and the Fire Boys, and I actually elected to go with a Ninetales in this slot. I don't think it's going to be the greatest Pokemon in this cup, but it does have its good times. It will have good times here and there. With the Size Shock ability to take care of the grass and poison, you don't really need a legacy one, and then you can beat some of your counters if you have enough energy or time to farm energy and get to a Solar Beam before going down. You can beat your water type counters that will come at you. So I chose Ninetales in that slot between the 4 and 5, or the 5 and 6. All right, so next I want you to pick someone from Group 7, the Ice Boys, and I elect to pick the Celio on this squad. Celio with the body slam damage is going to do well against a lot of different Pokemon. There's no steel types resisting the normal type damage, so that's what's going to be really good about Celio for this cup, as well as the ice moves able to take care of our dragon type Pokemon. And then for my dragon, we pick from Group 8. I'm going to pick the big boss of this cup as far as dragons go, and that's Dragonair. And yeah, Dragonair just speaks for itself. It's got the Dragon Breath, heavy damage, and then you got the Aqua Tail, which comes out pretty quick. And yeah, it's just a good Pokemon overall. So yeah, that's my first team that I made picking this infographic. You can look at them right there. Oh my god, wow, what a good looking team. That team looks amazing. Alright, so now let's make our team 2 with a fire type starter. Alright, so I'm going to choose Blaziken over Charizard, and here are the draws from my perspective. Being a fighting instead of a flying type Pokemon, I will be resisting ice type moves instead of taking neutral damage from them, while also being able to give them super effective damage instead of neutral damage with my fast attack. So the counter, as opposed to the fire spin against those ice types, is a big draw for me. Charizard, of course, is going to be beating Blaziken 1v1, but you're not going to be going in there trying to use him as your Charizard counter. We want to use him elsewhere, and I think he has great matchups against the field. Blaziken does, even though he's real flimsy. So for pick number 2, I'm taking Ludicolo. I really love the water subtyping, and not having a poison subtyping as a grass type is going to be really a big draw for me, because the water subtyping will make us have neutral damage from ice as opposed to super effective if we were grass poison. So I think that's a big draw, and I like getting to those ice beams. And also, yeah, we don't take super effective from fire type moves, we just take neutral. So those are some of the big draws where I'm standing. So that's my pick for pick number 2. Then out of the 3 and 4 pick, I'm going to pick Quagsire as my mud boy. I really just want that Stone Edge and to get rid of some fire type Pokemon. So that's my big draw there. Next, we're going to choose in the 4 and 5 slot, and at that pick, I'm going to take Venomoth. Venomoth having that confusion damage, able to take out a lot of poison types and just be a huge nuisance to the Razor Leafers and Grass Boys. Alright, so after that, we have to pick from Group 7, and I'm going to take the big boss hog gangster of the ice types, and that is Lapras. The ice shard's incredible. Get some Surf or Ice Beam action, or that Skull Bash. Yeah, I need to get some TM, or use the TM, probably get Skull Bash on mine. But anyways, and then for my dragon, I'm using Kingdra on this squad. I think maybe Dragonair would be the better choice and have less water types on my team, but we want to have a little fun and switch it up, not use Dragonair every time, so I'm using Kingdra here as my dragon type. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good squad. I've been playing with this squad a little bit and having fun. So there's my team number 2. Alright, so real quickly, I'm going to try and make a spicy team this time. Alright, so I'm picking Swampert as my starter instead of like Empoleon, which would be spicier. But just picking a Mud Boy when there's so many other good Mud Boys to choose from, I think that's spice right there. Just because why even choose a Swampert? You got so many good Mud Boys. Why even waste a starter pick on your Mud Boy? So yeah, we're going to pick Swampert to start. Next at my number 2 slot, I'm picking Gloom. Why? Because people don't play Gloom that often. I got a really good Gloom, and it's already level 1500 with 2 moves. It's ready to roll. And then from the 4 and 5 slot, the Rock, Water, or Poison, I'm going to pick Slugma. Or Magcargo. I'm going to pick Magcargo with that rock throw damage. It's going to not really want to see any water boys, but yeah, it's a pretty sturdy and it hits hard with that fast move. So yeah, I don't want to use Tyranitar with that double weak to fight, and that's why I'm going with my Magcargo as my little rocky boy. Alright, so next I'm going to choose a between the 5 and Slick spot this time, and I elect to choose Skuntank. I think Skuntank is going to turn out to be pretty decent in this cup as like a pretty safe generalist. It has to watch out for some mud boys, but outside of that, it's fairly safe. And then for my ice Pokemon, I'm going off the rails here. Completely off the rails with the Lapras. Just kidding, that wasn't very spicy. Yeah, we're just gonna go with the safe Lapras here, and then for my dragon type, I'm gonna pick a Shelgon. So that's my little spicy team right there, and I think it'll be pretty fun to play with that one. I'm gonna try and do that here soon. We'll show you how I do. Thank you again, Palaman, for the graphic, and thank you everybody for watching. I hope this gets you a step in the right direction to building a well-balanced, timeless team. And I want to give you a little assignment if you're up for it. Make me a little team using Blastoise. Use Blastoise, maybe even Empoleon, and just write down what kind of team you would build using this guide right here. So that's a little thing. And also, which of my 3 teams that I made, which one of those was your favorite? I'll let you know which one was my favorite. It was the second team, like the Blaziken team. So yeah, let me know which team is your favorite out of the ones I made, and also be using these teams throughout this week to go do some battles. So hope that you come back if you're new. Subscribe and enjoy those battles with these teams over the next few days. I also have a Richmond tournament for Ferocious to get out, so I'll finally get that out. Thank you again for watching. Y'all be easy. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Peace out, Bellsprouts. Bye-bye.